Now we've been introduced to Vincent van Gogh and his amazing sunflowers and how he used paint so thick onto his canvas that it had a raised surface, and that technique that he used was called impasto. Now his influence for using bright colours came from Japanese prints that he had seen. What we're going to do today is we're going to take Vincent van Gogh's idea, and instead of using thick paints we're going to use tissue paper to give us our relief effect, our raised impasto effect. But we're also going to learn how to make a vase for our flowers that is symmetrical. Now symmetry is where if we drew a line down the centre we have equal balance on either side. So that's our vocabulary word for this project: symmetry, equal balance on either side. It's not just with vases. If you take a butterfly and you drew a line down the centre, and even if you take ourselves and drew a line down the centre, we are balanced on either side. Now to get to this stage, what we need is a construction piece of paper. We're going to have a piece about this size here, and we're going to need a smaller piece, and we're going to fold this piece in half. This is what we're going to make our vase out of to hold our flowers. So there's the fold in the middle. Okay, you're going to draw a line on the outer edge. This is the outer edge. Now if you're not too sure how to draw vases, I do have a little cheat sheet here that shows you different shapes, but if you look, every one of them will have a rounded or slightly flat bottom. Now how we do that is we take our pencil and we draw the shape of a vase. And I'm going to take mine to there. And then, remember, this is the centre. We're not cutting the centre, we're cutting the edges off, keeping it folded, and we're going to cut it. Now I know already when I open this up that my vase is fairly chunky, very big, so I want mine a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to get my scissors. You can draw a line. I'm just going to make mine a little more sleek looking. And there we are. I'm happy with it. I've got a flat base, so it's not going to roll off. And when I'm happy that I've got the shape that I want, I haven't wasted any paper, I'm going to do a glue line around the edge and then a crisscross in the centre. Don't need to be over using the glue. Then nice and flat, spread it out. There we are. We've got my pot already. Now you're also going to get a piece of bright coloured yellow paper. This is going to be your map for your sunflowers. Using a compass, draw a circle. Okay, not too big. That circle is probably about 2 inches in diameter, and I'm going to draw two. When I've got my two circles, I'm going to cut them out. With the rest of the paper, I'm going to use it to draw petal shapes. And to draw petal shapes so that this whole paper is used to its full capacity, I'm going to draw shapes that look like the shape of eyes. So curve, 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 curve. Fill the whole page, curve, curve. I don't want to see little tiny little diddy ones. I don't want to see these little tiny skinny things. We want these nice large curved, even like lemon shapes, curved. When you've got all those shapes, two circles minimum and lots of petal shapes, you're going to cut all those out. When you've got them all cut out, we're going to paste them down so that we've got this spray, this sun spray. So we've got something that's starting to look along the lines of a Vincent van Gogh sunflower pot. Now, very first thing we're going to do is glue stick. I'm going to start in the very centre, and we're going to use beans, these lentil beans or split peas. And this is probably the most difficult part of the whole project, is trying to get all these little beans. And it can be quite sticky and gluey, but if we start in the centre and then work our way out and push them down, and they will stick. It's going to take maybe a few minutes for them to stop moving around. And you're going to do that until the whole centre is filled. And then taking tissue paper, And I don't mind whether you use reds and yellows and blues and greens, we've got an array. But you're going to take a little piece, about that much, and you're going to screw them up, these little pieces, into balls. So imagine that we've got these sunflower centres filled with the lentil beans, and then taking little pieces, roll it up nice and tight, and then place it down. You're going to have to keep adding glue because this glue will dry it. Even though it's going on purple, it will dry clear. So take a little piece. Now I've got lots and lots of colours. What I did with my first one, which is complete, I started with red, so it was very sort of like shadowy, and then I came out with yellow and then white. So again, just little balls and gluing it down. And if I just bring this up, you can see the little tiny balls, and then this would be filled with the beans. You're going to fill the whole project with beans and little tiny balls, and you can see just there, just the relief effect. So we're doing it just like Vincent van Gogh, but it's in pasto. So we're going to have our symmetrical pot. If you wish to, I can give you little pieces of green so that you can do little stems as well, but that could be an extra thing at the end. And then when you've got the whole thing filled, you're going to take a colour pencil and you're going to shade and give it some value. So it's got shadow in. So if you've got your stems and the side of your pot, so it looks like the sunlight is coming in from one side and then it's casting the shadow on the other side, and then you cast a shadow along the base there. And there, boys and girls, is your impasto Vincent van Gogh sunflower project. Now it's your turn.